Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. In the 2008 elections, one of the Tea Party Republicans who was swept into power was Rick Snyder, governor of Michigan. And the GOP also took over the state legislature. And they enacted an emergency manager law which allows the governor to simply decide that he can take over a city, appoint an emergency manager who fires the city council and all the other elected representatives, and has absolute authority over everything. He only answers to the governor. Now, this kind of law, naturally, you lose transparency. It's basically an invitation to corruption. And if you want corruption, boy, I've got corruption. Snyder appointed Fred Lieb to be the city manager for Pontiac, Michigan. Mr. Lieb decided to auction off the Pontiac Silverdome. The Silverdome cost $55 million to build. That would be about $200 million in today's dollars. The city had tried to sell off the Silverdome in the past. They were offered $18 million for it, which they turned down. Fred Lieb put it up for auction with no reserve price. A reserve is the minimum amount which the seller will accept for an item at auction. So without a reserve price, the Silverdome sold for just under $600,000. Not enough money to really do anything to help the Silverdome, the city of Pontiac's financial problems. It was bought by a Canadian named Andreas Aristopoulos. Now, Fred Lieb is no longer the city manager of Pontiac, Michigan. Not because it no longer needs one, not because he left it in such good financial shape that it doesn't need an emergency manager anymore. Pontiac still has emergency managers, and it is in worse shape than what Mr. Lieb found it. Fred Lieb left his city manager job to work for Andreas Aristopoulos. This is probably the most blatant case of corruption in the history of America. But that's exactly why the Tea Party was created in the first place, so that billionaires could make a lot of money preying on American citizens. And of course, the idiots who are part of that movement have no clue how they're being used. Eventually, once the GOP are kicked out of power in Michigan, there will be investigations. And I guarantee you, Snyder and his lackeys will wind up in jail. The question is, how much damage will they do to the state in the time they have left? Thanks for listening.